Here we are, game number 1 of our next best of 3. Semifinals of the EPT Cup, and spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have none other than Team Liquid's Clem. Fresh off of a victory against Hero. Looking strong. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner just came hot off a victory against Future. It is Dragon Kites Gaming's Dark. This should be an all-timer here. I'm excited for this one. Dark did look very good against Future. I only got to catch game 3, but Future was able to take a map off of him. Clem 2-0'd Hero. That's not necessarily the most relevant experience. TvZ a little bit different, built a little different. This is an interesting opening for Clem. This is very interesting. I'm actually shocked to see Clem open like this. All right, so this is the Beyond opener, right? This is 2 racks Reaper. He might drop a 3rd racks, but I think that time is past now. So it looks like it's just going to be a 2 racks Reaper from Clem. This is like, Beyond's been doing this. This is Beyond's meta for months now. It's really cool. I love this build. But what's funny about it is this became really popular in Korea. All the Korean Terrans were doing this almost every game. Especially Beyond and Maro were doing this basically every single game. And then none of the European Terrans picked it up. I cast a bunch of them. I feel like maybe I saw Clem do this like once. It didn't seem like they were into it. They weren't interested in it. They were playing normal Hellion openers. And now the meta has shifted a little bit. Hellion openers are a little bit safer since you can build those Cyclones from the reactor. So it gives you some more options. So we've seen Hellion openers come back into play. Cure's been opening like that. Oliveira's been opening like that. All of the Koreans, except for Beyond, really, are back to Hellion openers. But now Clem decides to go for this. Very strange choice, in my opinion. What is interesting about this, too, though, is that he's up against Dark. I don't think there's going to be a Zerg on the planet more used to dealing with this. And not just dealing with this, dealing with the best versions of this, right? Dark has been playing Beyond and Maru while they've been doing this build for the last 3 or 4 months. Non-stop. So, I don't know that I love this choice from Clem. I do love that we're seeing this build from him. It feels like he's pulling it out against the person it's going to have the least effect against. With that being said, this is just the macro version of the build, it looks like. 3rd CC is on the way. He's got the factory buildings. Interesting spot for the factory, though. It looks like he's going to swap that onto the reactor. So he's not going to follow this up with the standard like 16 stim marine drop that we're used to seeing. I don't know if Dark's going to be 100% ready for that. He is scouting this, though. He sees that Cyclone, or he sees the factory here. He doesn't know it's Cyclones, but that was kind of my guess, too. I feel like Dark might be feeling the same way. Clem, he's going to get kind of cheeky with this. The 2 Cyclones coming out is an interesting choice. The Roach Horn is on the way for Dark. But in the meantime, it's just these Zerglings out. But the Zerglings are going to be able to catch the Reapers. Clem has your Reaper micro. Reaper grenade's doing okay so far, but Dark blocks the entrance to jump back up into the main base, and these Reapers are going to go down. The Cyclones will pop out, but how good are the Cyclones here? Actually, they're okay against Lings, but one Cyclone gets caught. The other one, it's outside the door. It's going to try to hold the door here. And Marine's going to go down, though. The Ling's going to get on top of it. It's going to fall, and Dark is making this build look silly right now by just building a group of Lings at the perfect time. This is the kind of stuff he excels at, is dealing damage right when his opponent is at its weakest. And Clem, I really like this build. I like the idea of it. I think it has a lot of potential to be really annoying, but he just wasn't counting on that big group of Lings. Caught him completely off guard, completely out of position, and now he's lost not only his whole army for just some Lings. Those 2 Cyclones were meant to go get stuff done, get damage done, probably kill this Overlord. The Reapers are gone, and he lost a couple of SCVs. I mean, this is a fantastic trade for Dark all across the board. Obviously, Clem's not dead. he's still fine. Economically, he's a little bit behind, but he's about to take his third base. He's going to have plenty of SCV production. He's got Hellions out, and he's getting Marines out. Stim is, I think it just finished, actually. So as he gets 2 medevacs out, he can have a powerful little group of Marines here that Dark's going to have to contend with. But that's not how Clem wanted his opening to go. And Dark's going to be free to push this creep spread a little bit too. Which I will say, Dark, while he is one of the best Zerg players in the world, his creep spread is not the best. It's definitely, I would say, one of his weak points. He doesn't usually push the creep out too far, and he doesn't like really press for it. Some Zerg players, if you leave them alone on the map for 3 minutes, like Solar, that half of the map is covered in creep, and you're like, how did you do that? Whereas Dark doesn't prioritize that. He's more focused on getting tech out. He's more focused on his cost efficiency with his units. Honestly, he plays Zerg, I feel like, more like a Terran almost than anything else, which is kind of interesting. But he's just getting roaches out now. He's got his 1-1 on the way. Both players do. And this is just Clem trying to clear up some of that creep. Trying to maybe get some drone damage if he can, or trade with some of these roaches if he finds a weak spot. Just trying to keep that pressure on. Here he's going to find some queens. Guns them down. One of the overlords goes down, though. Or one of the medevacs, rather, goes down. So Clem can only get out of here with 8 units, but he's actually just winning this fight straight up. He's going to lift up his 8 units now and get out of there with them. I guess it's 7 Marines. But that was a good fight for Clem, but Dark still just making roaches. And in fact, Dark hasn't built any drones for this base. It's got 1 drone at it. He is at 65, and he is just building roaches and ravagers. This is a very Dark move right here. Thinking that Clem might not have enough back at home. Clem is going to siege up a couple of tanks in the mineral line and get ready for this push. He's got bunkers on the way. He recognizes what he's up against. But Dark is coming in from both angles. He's going to jump on top of this. 1 tank gets biled down. The other one standing strong. The bunker holding on for a little while too, even with a little bit of repair. But the roaches and ravagers starting to bust through a little bit. However, it looks like this tank's going to live. It's just fighting these roaches. The Marines push back the other group of roaches. The tanks will fall. But Clem's going to hold on. 18 SCVs going down. But remember, Dark's economy is not great here. Clem draws him into another tank shot. Roach is just trying to keep the Marines off of their back. Clem holds on, a little bit painful. But I think ultimately that's good for Clem. Now, Dark could drone up, and he is going to drone up a little bit here, as he's got a few on the way. He's got his 2-2 on the way as well. So he's trying to get some damage done. He did kill, I think it was 18 SCVs there. So as Clem gets back up to 60, Dark is already cruising past 70. And with a Roach Ravager force, you don't really want more than 75, maybe 80. And Dark's going to have that Roach Ravager composition. His 2-2, I think, is a little bit earlier than Clem's, but it's going to be pretty even upgrades throughout the rest of this game, it looks like. I am surprised we're not seeing a Hive right now from Dark. I don't think he even has the Infestation Pit to start that up. And that's something I do expect from him before the 9-minute mark, certainly. But I think he was just a little too committed to that attack and maybe worried about a counterattack from Clem. Now, I was talking crap about Dark's creep spread, but look at it right on Clem's doorstep here. Clem is going to clear this up and push it back at least to the edge of this high ground. But Dark has been doing fantastically with the creep spread in this game. I mean, this is impressive because I feel like usually it doesn't look like that. So Dark maybe he's been focusing on it a little bit. Maybe it's because the early game pressure was a little bit weakened since those Cyclones and Reapers died and Clem was forced to stay home for a little while longer. So the early game creep spread got out there. Whereas Clem is usually very good at stopping that creep spread before it even starts. He'll kill those first couple of tumors over and over again, and it makes it so hard for the Zerg. But here we see the creep spread catching these medevacs early. Should be early enough for Dark to get home, but he is a little bit far away from this. So he's going to lose a queen, and lose some of these roaches that pop up, but he will have enough now Picks off the queen so he can pick up without worrying about it. The infestation pit is finally on the way for Dark. Dark looks like he's going to counterattack, though. Ooh, there's a lot of tanks back here. Going to bile down that first one. Bile down the second one and the third one. Doesn't get either of them, though. Clem is going to push forward with his Stim Marines and keep these Ravagers back. Ravagers do not fight well against this. They have to retreat. Looks like Dark defending well on the other side of the map. He does have some queens up in here, so the medevacs have to be a bit careful. They're going to back out. Oh, those Ravagers getting too bold. Too bold. They at least have some creep spread to help them out as they run away. Giving them that speed boost. Clem has the 4th base up and running now, though. SCVs are hitting it. The planetary is morphing. I don't know where these medevacs are going. Maybe going to join up with the rest of his army. As Clem is pushing. Both players are near maxed. Ooh, the bile's going down on the top of the ramp there, but not actually hitting anything. Clem has a lot of siege tanks. That hive is not done yet. There's no Vipers out. There's no Banelings. This is just Roaches and Ravagers for Dark. I don't know if that's going to be enough. He takes down another siege tank, but I think Clem's army might be too strong here. Upgrades are even for both of them, and the tanks are just going to leapfrog forward. The biles are keeping him back. Takes down another siege tank. A lot of these tanks are pretty low. And the biles connecting. That's another tank down, but the Roach count is dwindling as this bio stims forward once again. Dark has to pull back. He needs to wait for more Roaches. He's even got some Lings to help him buffer here. The tank count is huge. More Ravagers morphing. See if Dark can get some more of those juicy biles that have served him so well. It's the only thing keeping him alive right now, but make no mistake, Dark is in a tight spot. He's backed up into a corner. The medevac seeing the high ground, so a lot of these Ravagers taking damage as they kill the one tank. But I think the bio is just the key here. I think that's going to overrun the Roaches and Ravagers. The tanks are going down, but Clem's army supply is still way higher than Dark's. Dark falling under 150 supply. And it feels like Clem is just going to have too much here. Can Dark keep holding on? Maybe an Infestor would have been nice. He just didn't quite have time to get any of that out. He was too committed to that attack earlier. And while he did some damage with it, it delayed all of his tech. His hive is so late. He's trying desperately to push this back, but Clem is just rallying across the map. A streak of blue joining up. Some Ravagers on the backside. Oh my god, but they are getting killed. And that is going to be it as Dark's army's supply falls under 50. And Clem pushes through. GG. Clem takes game number 1. Very solid game there out of Clem. I gotta say, the early game felt very Dark favored, but he did that Dark thing, and I think he got maybe a little too cocky, was feeling a little too far ahead, went for a big Roach Ravager push, and committed very heavily to it. He cut drones pretty severely. He was on 65 workers, and while he killed a lot of SCVs, he might have traded too much army away, and his hive ended up being very far away. He didn't have the economy to get 2-2 and a hive and enough Roaches to survive the counterattacks and drone up. He couldn't also get the hive. He didn't have the money for that. And Clem able to take advantage of it with a big counter push. A lot of bio. Roach Ravager just doesn't trade that well against a max bio army. Even supply, the bio tank should win that. We're getting into game 2. We're going to Oceanborn. Gotta love me some Oceanborn. I need to come up with a song. I might actually have to sit down and write an Ocean Man parody, but for Oceanborn. Ocean Man, take me by the hand, take me to the land. Now we understand. Oceanborn, spawning in the lower right corner, it's Team Liquid's Clem. Oceanborn, and the Zerg in the upper left, well, it's little old Dark. I don't know what we're doing there. None of that rhymed. Now we're just vaguely singing to the tune of something. But all right, game 2 here. Yeah, I feel like it was just Dark getting a little too heavy-handed with that attack. I think some pressure would have been more along the lines of what he needed there. Personally, I think Dark is best when he gets to that hive, when he's able to, get into those first few spellcasters. He's so strong with Infestors and with Vipers. And there's a period of time where Dark, who is very quick to hive, can get those units out before the ghosts are really ready, especially since he did hurt Clem's economy, right? He's able to do something like that without committing so heavily to it. I feel like getting those Infestors out, imagine a fungal on that bio ball, especially with the buff to Infestors, where he doesn't have to wait for pathogen glands to get them out. Spend that extra money. Infestors just pop with a fungal now. Very, very strong. And I'm surprised to see Dark not taking more advantage of it in that game. But we'll see. Maybe he'll change it up in this game. I wouldn't necessarily expect him not to be aggressive, but it's fun to see Clem going for this now. I swear he was not doing this before this most recent patch. It's crazy to see him start doing it now when it feels like all the Korean Terrans stopped. It's like he's late to the party. Except Beyond. Beyond still loves this build. This is his baby. He loves his Reapers. You know, Beyond's Reapers. And he's so good with them. I will say Clem's Reaper Micro is often very good. I don't know if it's quite at Beyond level, but it is often very good. You know who used to have really good Reaper Micro actually was Euthermal. I feel like Euthermal's Reaper Micro is actually... I used to consider him the best in Europe with it. I don't know anymore. You know, now he just smurfs on ladder and makes content, so probably lost some of that Reaper Micro over the years. But Clem's just being annoying with these Reapers, trying to maybe get a couple of link kills here. There was a drone over here. I don't know where it ended up going, though. It might have just come home. Reaper's bopping that queen in the main base. Ooh, one Reaper gets low. The queen from the low ground, or from the, the low ground comes up, finishes it off. And that's going to be about the end of the Reaper fun. And it looks like Clem is just going to do the exact same build here with the reactor. Oh, he builds the factory in the wrong spot, though. Oh, that's unfortunate for Clem. Delaying this tech lab. I think he wanted to build a reactor here, actually. But Dark able to drone up a little bit. We'll see if he makes that round of Lings again to try to punish these Cyclones. I don't think he has the vision on it this time, though. So he doesn't necessarily know that it's the exact same build out of Clem. But maybe we'll get to see what Clem was planning on doing here. Who casted Max Packs Beyond? I did. And so did Beowulf. I think somebody else was in there, too. But I don't remember. We both did. Dave Testa might have as well. I'm not sure. He might have been in one of these matches. But all right, Clem moving out. He's got the double Cyclone here with the double Reaper. This time they did not die, and that's going to make it really annoying for these Queens to deal with. But the Lings are going to come down to try to help out. There's a few of them. 6 more on the way. I think it'll be enough to push Clem back for now. Clem is going to join up some Hellions with this, though. And this is where it gets really annoying to deal with. Queen's just getting poked and prodded. So far, Clem not really finding any damage, though. Got that third CC. Another Rax going down as he gets into Stim. The follow-up is still going to be Bio. I'm glad Clem is giving us this build. He's like, this is how the build is actually supposed to work. In case anybody's trying to figure out the build order, you know, here you go. This is the game for you. Doesn't get that Overlord, though. Come on. Gotta at least get that Ovi. Oh, my God, that Transfuse. Dark not losing anything. He really hasn't lost. He literally hasn't lost anything. That's insane. All that Reaper Micro earlier and not a single Ling died? What? That is actually insane. Oh, Clem going to try to go in for some drones. Decides better of it, though. Very passive play out of these units from Clem, which I think in general is a good idea. Doesn't want to get too greedy by pushing in and losing everything. Banelings are on the way this game for Dark, so he's going to be rolling with the Ling Banes. Rolling like the Ling Banes. That's a different song. I don't even know what song that is. Rolling like a freight train? That's a thing, right? Fourth base is on the way here. So far, Dark still just not taking any damage. Finally, a Ling goes down. It was that scouting Ling. But not a lot happening on either side. The SCV is going to citizens arrest that Ling. I'm surprised Clem isn't even scanning to try to clear this creep. He's not worried about it. He's just running around. Both players macroing. Oh, Dark getting Burrow. And this is much more of the infestation pit timing I would expect from Dark. Right? We're about 7 minutes in. He's about to start that hive up. And might get a couple of infestors out. He might wait a little bit on those too. But he does love that hive. There it is. 7-minute hive. Classic Dark move. Armory must be done. Hellbat's morphing into, or Hellions morphing into Hellbats. This is exciting stuff. We are chilling right now. This is the least aggressive I've ever seen Clem play this matchup. Like, he is usually so incredibly aggressive. Oh, and he's going to find some Banelings. Not the best value for those Banelings. Didn't even get the kills, but, you know, it's something. He's just now moving on the map with some Marines to, like, clear some creep threat, which is crazy. The Lings are going to stop him from doing anything. He's just going to lift up and get out of there. I don't know. This is kind of wild. Both players are just hanging out. The Marines have been found again. Clem got to lift up. He does. There's only one tank here. Not a lot of splash damage. No Widow Mines or anything. And Clem just being so passive, I feel like Dark is like, what? Are you going to attack me? Or like, what's going on here? Dark still just hasn't taken any damage. Now it's like a handful of Lings have gone down. 18 Lings is kind of a lot, though. I'm surprised that many have died. It doesn't matter. This is still nothing in the grand scheme of things. Finally, Clem pushing out. Dark going to run in with a huge counterattack, try to catch some of these reinforcements, and that's going to pull Clem right on back. Dark just leaves again. This is buying time for more Banelings to morph. Adrenal, as well as 2-2 on the way here for Dark. He is quite a bit behind in upgrade, so Clem's 2-2 has been done for a minute. He's got 3-3 started up. And 2-2 is not done yet for Dark, so buying time is going to be very good for him. Clem is pushing out. He's on creep. He's in the middle of this map. Dark's got a lot of Ling Bane, though, and he is going to dive in on top of this and start pushing it back at least a little bit. I wouldn't hate to see this counterattack group come in over here. Siege tank here, but finally this counterattack going to get some damage done on the SCV line. Smashing Lings and Banes in. Clem says, all right, that means you don't have enough back at home to defend. I'm going in. And now Dark has to send the Banelings forward. Without the siege tanks here, those Banelings are a little bit more free to run in. There's that counterattack group coming in, and actually a Baneling gets a beautiful connection on the backside. And oh man, Clem's army is getting cleaned up. He is trading very nicely, though. The army supplies end up very similar. But remember, this third base was routed. 18 SCVs died at it. So Clem's down to 45 workers. He does not have a fourth base, doesn't even have a fourth CC. And now it feels like Dark, he's going to be able to reset, get his army back out. His 2-2 is done. His Adrenal is done. It's a while before Clem's going to have that 3-3. Surprised, again, we're not seeing any Infestors come out. I feel like one cheeky Infestor hitting up from this side, just landing a Fungal, and this game would kind of just end. But there are going to be some Vipers coming out. Blinding Clouds can be really nice. Parasitic Bombs on some of these low medevacs could be pretty huge. just trying to damage the, kill some of the healing. Well, Marauder's hanging out front, tanking those Bane shots, but it looks like Clem's going to have to lift up and get out of here and pull on back home. The army supplies are very similar. And Dark's going to run into a bunch of bio here on both sides. The Banelings looking to smash in. They get blasted by the Widow Mine, but Dark does win the fight on the left side. A little bit of tit for tat here as Dark gets some damage done and pulls back. The thing is, even trades are good for Dark. He's traded a little bit worse, but his economy is so much better that I think it's still good for Dark. He's got a 5th base on the way. There are some Vipers out. We could see some Blinding Clouds going down here. I think that's probably going to be the best bet. Clem accidentally killing that Marauder. That poor guy. Thought he was friends with the rest of those Marines. These Marines are my friends. The Marines are like, you're infested, aren't you? They just shoot him. He wasn't infested. They're like, oh, my bad. Thought you were infested. Clem gonna drop some Marauders at this 5th base, it looks like, and he's pushing over on the left side. But Ling's getting back in to this 3rd, getting some more SCV damage before Dark starts pulling them home. Ooh. Dark needs to split his army effectively. Doesn't have a lot over here to deal with this, but it looks like it's enough. Loses a few drones, but not much more than that. Parasitic bombs are going down on these medevacs. Gonna get some kills. Yeah, 2 of them go down. Viper sucking up some juice from this hatchery. Dark continuing to defend, at least for now. These Marauders need to get out of here. They cannot fight against these Lings very well. Oh my god, he's got a scan to kill these Lings. The one Marine will get the last shot off just before the scan runs out. But Dark, he's going to dive in on top of this. Baneling's getting some decent connections, and that is just going to be that as Dark ties the series up. Holding on against that big 3-base, full maxed army attack out of Clem. But it was so committed, no 4th base behind it. The counterattacks from Dark delaying and delaying and delaying and finally getting 18 SCVs of damage that Clem never replaced. And yeah, we're going to game 3. A competitive match. Very good TvZ so far. Really interesting. That build, so it's funny how the build Clem tried to do in game 1 was kind of shut down, right? The Cyclones died. Whatever happened early on didn't go his way. So he ended up going into a pretty standard, like, Marines dropping out on the map situation, holding back at home with the tanks. Ended up working out great for him. Then in game 2, his build gets off without a hitch. And all of a sudden, Dark is winning. It's like, maybe the build wasn't good. I don't know. It feels like it should be a strong build, but it feels like it hits so late. Dark just has forever to get his drone count up, and he didn't overcommit. Dark didn't take like 6 bases against him and drone up to 90, which maybe that's what Clem was counting on, but Dark was happy to sit at like 73 workers on 4 bases, waiting. He was waiting for Clem to show some signs of expanding or macroing up. And when he didn't, Dark just said, okay, I'm committing to just units. We're going to have a lot of units. I'm going to counterattack, keep them home, buy time, get my upgrades. And it worked out perfectly for him. And now we're heading to game 3. We're going to Alcyone. This game is the Bee's Knees. Alcyone, the Alcya Bee's Knees. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner. Right-hand corner? Is that right? Yes. We have Team Liquid's Clem. His opponent in the lower left, it is, of course, Dragon Kites Gaming's Dark. Again, the low ground depot, the low ground barracks is coming out here from him. I love to see it. It's, you know, I feel like I've been harping on it maybe too much. But it's just very interesting how he's starting to do this build now. But I wonder if he's going to do the same kind of opening. And I wonder if this opening is very specific against Dark and players like Dark. So here's the thing. The 3-Rex Reaper opening, or the 2-Rex Reaper opening, which is what Clem's been doing, it has a specific kind of weakness, which is roach attacks. And if there's one player who's very good at roach attacks, it's Dark. Now, you can get a lot of Marines out. It can be pretty decent against it. We have seen Beyond and Gumiho and those guys hold against Dark's counterattacks against the Reapers. But I wonder if that's why Clem's going into the Cyclones after, just in case there's some sort of roach follow-up from Dark. And then he can pressure out on the map with the Cyclones. I mean, it was just so weird. Clem was so non-committal and got basically no damage done with his Cyclones. His little group that was like 3 Reapers, 2 Cyclones, and 4 Hellions. He just didn't do anything. He just kind of like ran around the edge of creep. I guess he delayed some of the creep spread probably, but he didn't even get a unit kill for like a couple of minutes with those units out on the map, which is crazy. And I'm a little surprised by that because Clem is usually, I consider him a very aggressive Terran. And the moment he has units out that he can go do something with, I feel like I'm expecting him to be out on the map, taking good trades, killing as much as he can, keeping that creep spread back. This time he gets a drone though. Dark. A little bit late to pulling that drone back. Reaper gets a nice kill. But it looks like it is going to be the exact same build here. It's a very interesting wall. And by very interesting, I mean, I feel like this is a bad wall. But I don't know if there's a better way to wall on this map, so. It is a functional wall. The feng shui of this wall is off, though, by quite a bit. This is not pretty. This does not give me good feels, good vibes. I don't like this wall. I now want Clem to lose this game because his wall is bad. It just doesn't look pretty, you know? Maybe that's on me. This is going to be the same opener. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Similar opener, but different. Similar, but different. Maybe this is Clem's plan all along. Have opening builds that look similar, but are not the same. That is a second factory in the main base out of Clem. He's got double Cyclone already on the way. And that's going to be a tech lab. Okay. Maybe some siege tanks out? I don't know. This is getting kind of interesting. Lifts the barracks so he can get the kill on the Overlord. Lings are going to come try to protect this Overlord. I don't think they're going to be able to. Down she goes. But these Lings, though, that's a lot of Lings. Clem moving out before the Hellions are ready. Ooh, find some Lings, but that means the Lings can find him. Lings on all sides. Is it enough, though? Can Dark get the kills this time? Reaper grenades, bop in, trying to juke and jive. He's running into a corner. The Reapers could theoretically escape, but the Cyclones and Hellion can't. But it looks like Clem's going to be able to hold on this time. He does lose a Cyclone. He lost a Hellion as well. And a Reaper. But killed 21 Lings. Sends Dark packing. Gets to keep his little squad alive. And more importantly, doesn't show Dark what he's going for, which is that new Cyclone upgrade. I don't remember exactly how that affects the Cyclone. Is that a speed boost? I feel like I should know this, but I think I've only seen this once since the new patch came through. So, but Clem's going into Battle Mech. He does have Stim on the way too. So he's kind of half and halving it right now. Not usually advised, but could throw Dark off and give him a really powerful position at some point in this game. Dark trying to bust these rocks down. The Queen's just poking these units back for now. Oh, Cyclones, though. gonna get a kill on a queen. Not quite. Gets transfused. Lings might need to come help this. Quite a few Lings out. Clem's gonna have to back up. The Hellions. Oh, the Lings surround. Oh, and Dark. Just too good, man. Baited Clem in. He's like, yeah, no, I only have these Lings. Don't worry about it. And the Lings from the backside. Surprising him. Stim is done. Clem's gonna have to stim. And he should be able to hold on here, but it's another dead Cyclone. And remember, he's trying to do like battle mech here. And it's just not working. He got that upgrade. Whatever this upgrade was called. I tried to look at it, but I forgot. More Lings gonna come in. They forced another stim, and now all these Marines are super low. The Lings are just gonna trade with them. I will say Dark's economy is pretty trash right now. He's only on 52 drones. So as he pushes up here, this is kind of painful for him to lose all of these Lings. The Hellions come back. He's gonna get a couple of SCV kills. But Clem's gonna hold on ahead, still a worker. After all of that. Now Dark's got a 4th base, and he is droning up a little bit. This feels like Dark committed very hard to getting all these Lings out. And while the first surround was very good, the counterattack I think was a solid choice. I feel like those drones needed to be coming out a little bit sooner. Now he's got Burrow on the way. He's got Bane Speed on the way. But he needs to get that drone count up. 11 more drones on the way. That's what I like to see. Hydra Den started up too. Interesting choice here out of Dark. Feeling like he wants that more consistent DPS, the ranged unit. Baneling's trying to come in, not going to get their connections on the SCVs. Clem is ahead in supply. The worker count's very even, but look at Clem's army supply, man. Dark, I think Dark was hoping Clem wouldn't pressure for a little while. And it's kind of what Clem did last game, but this game it feels like Clem, he could have the opportunity. He's at over double the army, actually exactly double the army supply of Dark, and he's just not doing anything with it right now. He's gonna clear some creep, but he's being so timid. This is not what I expect Clem to play like. Maybe it is because it's Dark he's up against, but this kind of passive play is not what I expect to see out of Dark. Out of Clem, jeez. One day I'll figure out who I'm talking about in a game. Today's not that day. Dark, in the meantime, getting into his Hydras. Only on the lair, still no Hive. This is feeling a lot like game 1. Clem's going to stim up. There are some Lings and Banes here for Dark, so Clem's got to be a little careful. Plus, the Hydras can take down the Medivacs if Clem's not careful. A lot of Hellions behind this as well. Clem will just lift up and get out of there. Hellions going to show up, join up with this. The armory must be done. He could morph these into Hellbats if he wants to. They might just be better as the mobile Hellions. Clem's pulling everything across, though. He's got Widow Mines with Drilling Claws. He's got a Siege Tank even. There are the Hellbats. And Dark, this might be a do-or-die moment here. He's going to see how much stuff there is. He's going to morph 16 more Banelings. He's trying to get into the Infestation Pit now, but it's a little bit too late, I think. Clem is on his doorstep, and he is pushing. He's taking a 4th base behind this as well, so he's not nearly as committed as last game, and he's in a much better spot than Dark. Dark finally got his economy up, but I don't know, man. His army supply is way down from Clem's, and Clem's army is so annoying to deal with. The Hellbats out front, the Widow Mines, the Siege Tank. Everything about this army is so annoying to deal with. Counterattack is getting some damage done. Only 3 SCVs going down. Lings are finding some reinforcements. Widow Mines going off on absolutely everything. So many Banelings dying there to those Widow Mines. All the mines are dead, though, as is the Siege Tank. But the Marines still very powerful here. Might have a tough time pushing through the Hydras on their own, though. And as the Lings come in for the surround, Clem has to pull back a little bit. Dark is holding on very impressively, but the lack of Banelings here is so difficult for him, especially as Clem reinforces. There's some burrowed Lings here, but only 4 Lings. I don't think are going to get the kind of damage he needs them to on the other side of the map. Maybe if they could turn into Banelings while they were burrowed. That's the buff Zerg really needs. And Dark, he's going to sacrifice this base. He does have one up here to send these drones to. His drone count is still quite nice. Clem pushing right on into creep. Needs to be a little bit careful here. There's still a lot of Zerg. Dark's army supply is low, but a couple of good Baneling connections could change that. It's a hard thing to get against Clem, but it's a little bit easier when he stays on creep like this. Well, the Lings do unburrow. They're going to be able to get one SCV. Nice. Good job, Lings. Clem's still pushing forward. Dark back up against the wall, literally against the wall and his natural. He does have the Hive about to finish, maybe, if he can get some Vipers out. We saw the Vipers in game 1 not really get anything done. But maybe in game 2 he can pull some of these tanks up, make the engagement a little bit easier for his Lingbane Hydra. Clem is not chilling though. He is not slowing down at all. He's continuing to pressure across the map. His 2-2 is finished. 3-3 is on the way, and he's just going to dive in. Widowmine's getting some decent connections. This low ground tank being an absolute badass down here, holding strong, up to 15 kills. And the Marines just poking forward, getting some trades, pulling back. I'm just doing that over and over and over again. His 4th base is fully set up. He's got a 5th CC on the way. The worker count is almost dead even. This is looking like Clem's game to lose. Dark needs one fantastic engagement, and maybe he can stabilize. But that's looking harder and harder as Clem continues to push forward, reinforcing. Dark is diving in, going for it, but he's not going to clean up the tank. He doesn't even clean up all the Widow Mines here. Clem's army just feeling too strong, too good. Widowmine's not getting the best connections. Clem makes a big mistake. Hold the phone. Clem was pushing for the win there, but he commanded those units forward, ate a couple of big Baneling shots, and now he's got to retreat to the middle of the map. Suddenly the supply's a little bit closer. Ooh, Dark, if he burrows these, they could be cheeky, but I think he forgot to hit the burrow button. Clem gonna stim forward, but now he's being a little more careful. The tanks are gone. He's got one more in the middle of the map. They're not out here anymore. That being said, Clem's 3-3 is finishing up here pretty soon. Dark has +3 Carapace on the way, but he's going for +2 missile attacks instead of +3 melee. So he's going to be a little bit behind on upgrades. But he's getting the Adrenal, so that should help him equalize a little bit. Clem said screw it, and he's doing the old classic, which is picking up and going for a Doom Drop. He is going to pass right over this base. No, he's going to dodge it. Oh my god, and he boosts in a huge amount of units hitting the main base. Even a siege tank here. Dark needs to gather his forces. He needs to kill this, but it's so dangerous. Parasitic bombs going down on the medevacs, but I feel like Blinding Clouds here could have been the play. I don't know. There's no medevacs to pick these units up. Dark's going to clean this army. Barely. Clem's splitting, knowing these last few units are so important. Hold on. Dark ran out of units. The rest of the Lings and Banes, where are they? We have drones going down now. And finally, Clem will get cleaned up in the main base, but those units traded way better than they had any right to. That 3-3 finishing up at a beautiful time for Clem. And Dark is in a lot of trouble, man. He's down 10 workers. He's down 10 army supply. Clem's on a 5th base. And Dark, I mean, he's still got this one back up. This one's on the way, but he doesn't have the economy right now. He's finally getting back up to a decent drone count. He is heading towards lurkers, but Clem has ghosts on the way. A little bit of back and forth here. Maybe if Dark can get this game to a late game phase with lurkers and ghosts and get his economy up a little bit more, he can be okay. Clem's very late game is very good, but Dark's late game is very good too. So I feel like that kind of equalizes their chances here. Clem was on the verge of winning, and he still has a lead. Don't get me wrong. But that lead means less and less as these cost-efficient unit compositions come out. Because then it just becomes, in general, about cost efficiency. And being behind makes it a little harder. But if Dark's able to be cost-efficient in 1 or 2 of these late-game fights, that'll be enough to make up for it. That's going to be easier said than done, though. Clem is very nicely set up on his 5 bases on his side of the map. Dark trying to take that base. Clem doing him a favor and killing it because it was positioned incorrectly. So, thank you, Clem. All right, lurker upgrades are done. High sec auto tracking on the way. as well as building armor. That's how you know we're in the late game. When you see these upgrades coming down, that's how you know it's late game. Yoinks one of the medevacs. Yoinks it again. Gets it that time. Widowmine gets a big connection there. It was 10 kills on that bad boy. Just little bits of trades here and there. I mean, the worker count's pretty similar at this point. Clem has been trading better. But I feel like we're at kind of an even stage of this game right now. 3-3 is about to finish up for Dark, so the upgrades will be fully equalized. Except for the mech upgrades, but they're on the way. Fusion core started up and a second starport here for Clem. He wants to get into Liberator range, which can be very helpful late game, especially against the lurkers. This tank out in the middle of the map. Clem was like, I didn't want that tank anyways. I'm surprised we haven't seen Dark try to clear these rocks. I feel like that could be very helpful for the Zerg player. As Clem tries to push through the bottom side. But Dark has a big counterattack. Oh my god, that's a huge counterattack. All of his lurkers are up here. Means he doesn't have very much army down on the bottom side of the map. But that is going to be a dead planetary right there. And 18 dead SCVs. Dark getting some big damage done. He's going to try to move in here as well. Not really watching though, eating some big shots on his banelings. Dark's going to back up. Does lose a lurker or two to those snipes. Just the one. Clem's going to retake this base, re-secure the location. Dark finally getting a bit of a win there, though. Clem is getting into that very late game stage, though, with all of these extra command centers. Dark is trying to take these rocks down. He will be able to. Dark finds another tank. Little things like this can be very nice. Gonna completely get the center of the map cleared, except for this one mineral field. Is this gonna stay here? I feel like it is. It's not really gonna affect much, but it's kind of funny that it's just gonna sit right there. Clem's trying to take the lower right base. It looks like Dark's gonna take the top left base. Both players expanding very close to their opponents. Oh, Dark gonna come back up here. This is a pretty well fortified position, though. What with the Liberators and the Planetary, but Dark says screw it, going in anyways. Never mind, decides to pull back. And what is Dark's plan for this game? I think we have a greater Spire. I don't even think there is a Spire up right now. It's not going to be Brood Lords. He's just pushing through the middle right now with the Lings. The Lurker's going to siege up on this mineral line. Some bio buying some time for those SCVs, but the SCV's going to take some damage. Clem needs to deal with this. Should be able to get some snipes off on some of these units. No Blinding Cloud, I feel like, on this army. Again, where's the Blinding Clouds here on these Vipers today? Lurkers step forward. The Ghosts have gotten some great snipes. The wall gets taken down, the little destructible debris that was here. And this is a lot of snipes. I mean, these are all dead Lurkers. Dark just lost all of his Lurkers for that. He is replacing a lot of this army. Ling's going to come down here. 3-3 Adrenalings can absolutely kill this base. A little surprised he didn't commit to that. Instead, going to morph Banelings. Ooh, Clem going to go for the wall here. I can safely say I've never seen a wall right here. Dark going to counterattack as Clem starts moving on the bottom side of the map here, trying to get some damage done. Oh, and actually he's going to be able to clear out some of this as well. Doesn't have any Hydras to kill the Liberators. Clem has a very high ghost count. I love that these bases are just right next to each other. It's such a beautiful thing. Dark's going to try to move through the middle of the map. This is scouted by those sensor towers. Clem not reacting to this information just yet. But Dark is here, man. He is in the middle, in between these bases. This could cause a real problem for Clem. Clem is bringing some units back now. Gonna get some snipes off on these Hydras. There's only one Lurker, so not that scary of an army here for Dark. He's gonna try to bust through, kill some of these reinforcements, though. He's like, I'll go for the SCV line. There's literally nothing here. The scan going to kill those as well. But this pulls Clem back from this fight for at least a little while. Clem going to stim forward again now, looking for the base here. Dark has not taken that base because he's taken this base. And the Liberator is going to go ahead and siege up here and stop some of this mining. The gas mining's still going, though, and that's really nice for Dark. Any gas he can steal from this side of the map is going to be really good moving forward. Because we are getting to the point where this map is getting mined out. Clem's first 4 bases are all very low. And I think he kind of wants this base. Well, looks like he's going to try to take this one. Well, that's awkward. This is kind of awkward for Clem, too. Liberator's getting taken down by these last couple of Hydras here. Banelings trying to smash on top of some of these units. Dark found himself a really nice position in the middle of these bases again, killing those rocks earlier. Coming in clutch. The Ghost not able to get the snipes off because they're alone and the Lurkers hit them. And if they get hit at all, they break their concentration. They don't get the snipes. We're going to try to move over here and get the snipes on this side. Lurkers, some of them have split off a little bit. I'm not able to take this base. Doesn't have any army anywhere else. He just needs to clear this. Dark needs to make it as cost inefficient as possible. But he's going to lose all of those Lurkers there. This base will get secured again. Dark going to move forward. Oh, he killed the turret, so now he's going to find a nice little spot away from the turret. And by that, I mean that Lurker's going to die. I love these 2 Hydras. Very just powerfully trying to kill this orbital command. Take stock of this game now. Dark is down a little bit of army supply. He lost a lot in that fight earlier, but he killed a lot of Clem's economy. Clem is down to 55 workers. Dark still at a solid 88 drones, and now this base is up and running. He's got some infestors on the way out. Those could be very, very good if they don't get EMP'd. Oh, he's trying to get on top of these Ghosts. The Ghost running back, trying to get to the planetary. Baneling's trying to smash, and they don't get the smash. Unfortunately for those Banelings, no smash for them today. Now the Liberators are showing up, zoning out some of this Zerg army. But look at the supplies. Dark taking a nice supply lead here. Clem has not been able to take this base. Oh, looks like Dark might want to retake that hatchery. Clem's economy is it's getting pretty low. I mean, there's not a lot of minerals left over here. This base is starting to mine out. He's on 1 full base and probably another base and a half with all these around the map. Dark is again going to counterattack, leaving enough at home to hopefully keep Clem off of his ship. But Clem might go for the full counter push here. He's got a very powerful army down here. He's not reacting. There's a lot of stuff in his main base. And the 1 Ghost and 2 Liberators are going to have a tough time killing all of this before he loses so much of his production. Liberators, orbitals going down. This planetary is in a lot of trouble here. Clem is going to go for the counter push. Going to be able to take this base down. This is a very important base for Dark. He does not have a lot of mining either. All these bases are getting quite low. Even this one getting very low. He's long distance mining from up here right now, it looks like. Dark's mining is pretty crap, but he has a bit of a bank. So as Clem pulls back, it looks like Clem has stabilized a little bit. I cannot believe this planetary is living right now. The armory got killed, though. That's very interesting. Scan to kill the Lurkers. The planetary gets healed by 3 SCVs. They keep it alive. 11 workers went down, but Clem doesn't really need more than 50, I think. I think it's kind of okay that he's at 50. Okay, this base is going to die now. The Adrenalings will take care of it as Dark comes back in with his army. His army is so much more mobile, and he's going to retake this base. That Liberator finally going to get taken down. Clem's going to counter push again, but this time there's some Lurkers here with these Lings. I'm seeing more Infestors come out, but I haven't seen the Infestors do anything yet. So I guess the snipes or the EMPs have been good. Clem continuing to push forward. He gets the base. Not a lot left at this base, though. Actually, the gas hasn't been mined at all. That could be really important for Dark. Dark is going to need a base soon. I love this for Clem. I'd love to see him drop some mules here. This has become a weird game now. Oh, a few Hydra's going to get caught here as Clem moves down to clear this area. There's not a lot of mining left. Dark is being careful with his spending because he doesn't have a ton of bank. at the moment. 1500, 1500. He's got a little bit of mining left at these bases. He's building a spire now. Don't know how much I love the spire at this stage of the game, but he's back to mining from this base. Oh, no. That liberator range coming in handy right now. Oh, these drones need to pull away. 3 Hydras need to go, like, right here. Dark's going to full send the counterattack again. Trading with some of these units. Clem scans the high ground. He sees lurkers, infestors, and banelings. Not a lot, but enough to stop him from pushing up for right now. Instead, he's heading back. More units getting killed here. Somehow this Liberator lived against those Hydras. Clem is maxed. He's maxed at 150 army supply. This is a very scary moment for Dark. This is probably the scariest moment of the game. Clem has finally hit maxed. All this counterattack pressure has done a lot of damage. Just yoink it. Just yoink it into the... Oh my god. It's taking way too long. Those parasitic bombs. Dark has been all about the parasitic bombs, but I feel like they are not the best spell the Viper has. I mean, Dark is down about 20 army supply right now. Clem is starting to push up here. A lot of Dark's army supply is not available in this fight. God, that is so many Zerglings, though. There are 155 Zerglings on the map. Dark's army, it's over half Lings. Oh, the Infestor gets targeted down by the Liberator. Beautiful job by Clem. I don't know if that was intentional. It was probably not, but damn, that is a good kill. Dark, though, he's going to clear this base. He's going to try to push through this ramp. The choke point, maybe not the best place to push. Where is the blinding cloud? That was the perfect spot for it. We're seeing more parasitic bombs. There's a juicy fungal. Baneling's getting in, blowing up on top of some of these units, but Dark's army supply is dropping faster than Clem's, and Clem is sniping more things as they try to leave. And I think Dark is dead. I think Clem has done it. Dark's got Corruptors out. These were to deal with the Liberators, but Clem's just going to push forward. Dark has to evacuate this base. This is his only mining base right now. He has like nothing else. And Dark, he's got 71 workers, but his army supply is at half that of Clem's. Clem's going to be able to retake this base. This has been the most contentious base in the game. And Clem, if he's able to get this base mining, he is going to be absolutely golden. I think his biggest issue right now is that his units are building so far away from where he wants to push. He is on the other side of the map from his production. That might be the only thing Dark can take advantage of, but guys, I think Dark is dead. He just has no money. His bank is completely gone. Clem is maxed again, and Dark is stuck at 130 supply. Clem is not being very aggressive with this. He knows Dark is in dire straits. I wouldn't hate to see another Liberator come back up here and siege up on this base. It really is Dark's only mining base right now. Dark is, I think, going to long distance mine some of these minerals. He's got plenty of gas. It might be time to build some more Infestors or Vipers. He just has so few minerals. He's actually not even fully saturated up here, which I think is a problem for him. And as I say it, Clem does it. He was already sending this Liberator up here. He missieges it, though, so it actually can't hit any of this. And that's a bit unfortunate for Clem. Just needs to move it forward. Honestly, you could just siege it up on the base. I don't think that hits either. He's so silly. By the time he gets it here, the Corruptors are here. Oh, but the Ghosts were ready for the Corruptors. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Snipe, snipe. Pew, pew, pew. And Dark's trying to play cautiously and cost effectively. I just don't think he's going to have it. I don't think there's any way for him to overcome this army supply lead of Clem. Losing more Lings here willy-nilly. Feels like a siege tank. But this is it. 13 more drones going down. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Clem is getting an insurmountable lead with the mining from this base. I really would hate to see him like drop 2 mules here to just clean these up. I'm surprised he's not mule hammering the crap out of this base, because the quicker he mines it, the better it is for him. And this might be it. This might be the final engagement as Dark goes in. He gets shoved away. His army is just getting demolished here. There's a lot of infestors around. If he lands some key fungals, that could be huge, but we're already seeing snipes take down some of those infestors. There's 6 infestors and 5 vipers. Clem has a nuke as well. He could go drop a cheeky nuke on this base. Parasitic bombs, again. They don't even kill the Liberator in one parasitic bomb, though. This Liberator lives with 5 hit points to keep killing drones. Dark has no other mining. He can't pull these drones away. He needs to mine. I think Clem could probably snipe some drones from here. I think we're watching the very end of this game. One more engagement, perhaps. Dark's going to go for a counterattack. There's a planetary, siege tanks, liberators, turrets. He can't crack the base. He can't even get some damage onto that base. Dark's going to go in one more time, but I think there's just too much here. There's the WW coming out of Dark. Clem takes the 2-1 victory, a hard-fought 30-minute game to close it out there. But he does it. Takes down Dark to move on to the grand finals.